I'm Mary Starr with the Wake to Truth podcast. We are delighted to have back again our guest, Michael Yon. As most of you know, he is a former Green Beret and war correspondent, and we are thankful to have you with us today, Michael. So, our topic today is going to be just a brief update on what is going on in Panama. The short version is that there has been an uprising in Panama. It has started in the main banana producing region. The government has declared an emergency. They have shut down internet and cell service, and they have also suspended constitutional rights for 5 days in some areas. So, Michael, what can you share about that?
This has been going on for a while. It's been building for a long time, and it has numerous components to it. Where should we start? Let's start with Social Security. The Panamanian government, actually, if you want to know the Panamanian situation with Social Security, just look at ours and then say it in Spanish. I mean, it's basically very similar. So the problems that they have with Social Security are very similar to ours. And so, it's just the count, the numbers don't balance. And so they're going to have to work longer. They're going to have to pay more, and they're going to have to make more payments into it. And they're going to push back their retirement. People are very angry with that. So that's one component, right? There are other components, such as a big copper mine, First Quantum, which is allegedly a Canadian company. But it's a huge copper mine, and China and others have great interest in it. The Nobe Buglia Indians have been protesting that for a while. There's some information war going on there, so that's another component. A lot, these protests, by the way, have caused Chiquita a lot of problems. The other protests, right? And so that led to, Chiquita moved their operations. It's been, about a month, right? They moved over to Costa Rica. That took thousands of jobs. So now, this is where, the protest about one thing have made the whole problem worse. And I feel for the Panamanians. I love Panama. Panamanians are great. And, I spent a lot of time there.
Right.
I feel for them because I can see what's coming. There's also outside actors who are doing their best to pit the people against each other. And the 7 tribes have united. Of course, that took outside action to do that. China, actually, I've been at their memorial many times over right next to the Panama Canal. There's a memorial. If you're in Panama Canal, you know where the Thatcher Ferry Bridge is. The Bridge of the Americas is the new name. The new name since decades, but it was originally called the Thatcher Ferry Bridge when America opened it in 1962. And then in another information war, the name was changed to the Bridge of the Americas. Well, as you cross the Panama Canal, leaving Panama City over the Bridge of the Americas, Thatcher Ferry Bridge, there's a Chinese memorial on the right. And that memorial is right beside the new Chinese bridge that's being built, right? And that bridge, that new Chinese bridge that's being built day and night. I mean, I'm out there all the time. I shouldn't say nighttime. Usually they stop working at night, but I'm out there a lot looking at it. And that is going to land at the Hutchison port on the Pacific side, Balboa, which is the one operated by China. 2 of the ports that are operated by China. One's on the Atlantic, one's on the Pacific. So that bridge is actually going to land. Anyway, at that Chinese memorial, right by the Panama Canal, right between those bridges and by Hutchison Port, at that memorial, there's a Kuna Indian revolutionary flag flying in the Chinese memorial, right? That's what I'm setting the table so you understand. This Chinese memorial is not about memorializing Chinese who worked on the canal or any of that stuff, of which there was like maybe a handful. They did work on the railroad and many other things, but their contribution, this idea that the whole world contributed to the canal also is nonsense. The United States built the canal, full stop, period, our canal, right? In fact, we created Panama. November 3rd, 1903, the Republic of Panama was born after the United States sponsored a revolution to break off part of Colombia, right? So that we could make the canal. And then we made a treaty immediately with the Republic of Panama after we created it to take a 10-mile strip through Panama in the area we need to make the canal. That 10-mile strip was America. We didn't take Panama. Panama didn't even exist until we created it. But we took 5 miles on each side of the canals for 10 miles, right? And so now those 7 tribes, almost nobody could get along with the Kuna Indians. I'm out with them all the time. I love them. I think they're great. but Americans can get along with them for some reason. We just like Kuna Indians, and Kunas seem to like Americans. And I'm out with quite a few of the tribes, especially Imbara and Kuna. And those tribes have been, all 7 of the tribes have been brought together by some outside actor, and they are standing up against the government. They've also made a coalition with Soontraks, which is a communist organization. And actually, in this particular instance, I've been to some of the Soontraks protests. They can get extremely violent, very violent, and including death, right? I mean, this is no joke. They're communist and they got anger in their hearts, right? But which the Indians don't tend to have anger in their hearts, but but even Soontraks, when they're protesting this Social Security, Soontraks is right. Even the communists are right sometimes. But so I mean, they're not going to get there. I mean, let's face it, it's corruption and it's just malfeasance and also just not using their money wisely. And so that's an intractable situation. Now let's talk about that copper mine. That copper mine may be able to solve or at least ameliorate the problems until Chiquita just left. And that I'm not sure if the copper mine can save it at that point. But the copper mine is closed in an information war. So the Nobe Bugle Indians are like, hey, it's destroying the ecology here. And so anyway, they had some very violent protests to keep that thing closed. And if you fly over it, it is a huge mine. But so the government obviously wants to open that mine, and other people want to keep it closed. I think that some of the people that want to keep it closed are trying to keep it closed because they're trying to collapse the Panamanian economy. They want the people upset about Social Security. The copper mine's closed. Chiquito just left. And so this can cause the implosion and the civil war that can help the predators who want to take Panama. And I've warned the Panamanian government about this for at least about 4 years, that this is happening. And at first they looked at me like I'm crazy, but they're very polite. I mean, I know it sounds crazy. It sounds crazy to people that don't do war for years and decades on end. But for me, I know what I'm looking at. So I can just kind of walk in and start taking inventory, and I know what I'm looking for. So when I walked into the Panamanian government and was warning about the NGOs are behind a lot of this, they thought that was kind of crazy. But now, in the last couple of weeks, they realize the United Nations is partly behind this.
So the United Nations is behind this. What specific countries would you say are complicit, or is it just the United Nations as a whole?
Complicit would be China and United States. Weirdly, China and United States are actually fighting there. We're both undermining Panama, weirdly, because the United States spent generations making Panama resilient. We spent generations making everybody get along, finding ways to help them get along. And now we've reversed the polarity on all the things that we do. And we're making, just like in America, boys are girls, girls are boys. Just reverse the polarity on everything that's right or wrong. And we've done it there. We've done the same in Thailand. We're doing the same in Japan. We're doing the same in Argentina, right? And China is too, because we're all in contention on all these different places. China wants Japan. China wants Thailand. China wants Argentina. China wants Panama. But America, in its woke mindset, is actually going along and doing the same thing. I mean, I was in Thailand a lot. I had an office there. If you web search my name, you'll see me in Thailand. You'll see me flying around on the jet with the prime minister. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I was in 2 coups in Thailand, right? I mean, like really in the coups, like not just in the country. I mean, like right there. I mean, I've been all over Thailand. And why Thailand? Thailand is the hyphen in Indo-Pacific security. It's very important, but most people don't get that anymore. You've got a lot of Americans that aren't proud to be American anymore. But I've been all over this world. I feel extremely fortunate that I was born in America, like over the top fortunate, right? I mean, won the lottery, you know what I mean? Like born with a U.S. passport,
Right. To me, the obvious factor in Panama is the canal. We want and need that canal. Are there other underlying motives that the general public that we're not seeing?
There are. Now, even if Panama didn't have the canal, it would still be important. But insofar as waterways, Panama Canal is the number one overseas waterway for the United States. The only waterway that might be more important might be the Mississippi River or something. I don't know. But I mean, the Panama Canal is vital to us. It's this, right? But it would be important even without the canal. It's just location, location, location. It's also where a lot of data transfer, there's data centers there because it's also a crossroads for data. It's a crossroads for banking. Also, they're building a road down to Colombia, which people deny. They're wrong. I assure you, I'm the one that found the bridges, right? They're building them right now, and they're eventually going to connect to Colombia. And again, people will say, no, I live in Panama. He's wrong. Okay, they're wrong. You can fly down there and look, which I've taken a lot of people down, like Brett Weinstein. He was messaging me today about some stuff. But, I've taken Laura Logan down there. I've taken Ann Vandersteel, Masako Ganaha many times. And I've taken Chris Martinson, Dr. Chris. I've taken a lot of people. They've all seen the road that's being built to Colombia, right? And so that would be important. Bottom line is Panama is one of the most important little pieces of land on planet Earth, right? So it is a juicy pork chop, let's say, around the neck of a sheep, surrounded by predators. And the Panamanian government's weak. They can't even pay Social Security. They don't have an army. They have Cinefront, which is very professional, but they've only got like even a handful of almost machine guns. You know what I mean? Like squad automatic weapons. They don't have any missiles or artillery or that sort of stuff. So, I mean, they don't have any method, and plus they have no strategic depth. They just can't defend it, right? So they imagine you're sitting on a mountain of gold and you don't even have a pickaxe to defend it with, right? And so that's what the way Panama is. It's got the copper. That place is filled with gold too. It's got energy. It's just an incredibly valuable place, even without the canal. And people have fought over Panama for 500 years since the Spanish first got there. And before that, the Indians were fighting each other, and they still do. Like the Indians have fought genocidal wars between themselves. Like the Imbra and the Kuna, they've gone genocide on each other. They get along okay right now, but because I'm out with both of them quite a lot. But but you can tell in the background there's a firmware where they could fight each other again. And this is the sort of thing right now they're being packaged up to fight the government. But I know how this works. Eventually, that other firmware between them will be poked, and you'll get the Kuna to fight the Mbara. And the thing is most people don't realize how this works, so they're just kind of like you're basically a gazelle that was just born around a pack of lions. You know what I mean? They're just too big. They're too sophisticated. You're not going to be born knowing how to fight this thing or even how to recognize it. So it takes a long time to be able to see these things. But once you do, the United States needs to stand with Panama. But actually, our previous ambassador, Aponte, she was totally woke, the LGBT flag over the embassy type stuff. And the Panamanians are like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? We're Catholic. These are family people. You know what I mean? They don't like that stuff. And the same when they do it in Thailand or Thais don't like that stuff. Thais, if you want to be a lady boy, it's fine in Thailand, but don't try to force it on people, right? They don't like that. You're absolutely Thailand is absolutely free on stuff like that, but they don't like it being pushed down them, right? And the same is happening in places like Japan. It is anthropological warfare used in service to larger things.
So, what do you see down the road for Panama over the next few months? What do you predict?
I predict eventually, somehow, the Panamanian government will be knocked out of the saddle. I don't know when it'll happen because I spent a lot of time in a lot of wars, and one thing's you can really go off the rails predicting timing. But the general trend and the general probably outcome, to me, it's kind of obvious. I mean, to others maybe not, but to me, I think eventually the Panamanian government will lose power. I don't know when that would happen. Could be a year, could be 10 years. I think it'll be sooner, probably somewhere in that between a year and 10 years. I think that they will probably be knocked out of the saddle, and then somebody will be installed to better represent the people that are stealing Panama.
Thanks for watching the Awake to Truth podcast. Visit our website at awaketotruth.org and connect with Mary Starr on X at awaketotruth_ and on Rumble at Awake to Truth Ministries. The Awake to Truth podcast, a beacon of hope in a world shrouded by shadows.